as a family.
Let's talk about the most overpowered baby in the Marvel Universe, Franklin Richards. Yes, the same kid that Reed Richards and Sue Storm are desperately trying to protect in Fantastic Four: First Steps. If you've seen the trailer, you already know Galactus isn't coming to Earth to eat the planet. He's here for their child. But why? Why does a cosmic godlike entity want a baby? Well, it's not just any baby. This child might be the most powerful being in the entire multiverse, and that's not an exaggeration. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So today, we are diving deep into Franklin Richards' insane backstory, his god-tier powers, and why Galactus is obsessed with him.
He said, "Give us your child, and I will spare the earth."
The cosmic pregnancy. So Franklin was born to Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. But his arrival into the world wasn't smooth. Sue's pregnancy turned dangerous when doctors discovered strange energy in her bloodstream. This wasn't just any energy, it was unstable, mysterious, and possibly deadly for both mother and child. The likely cause? The same cosmic radiation that gave Reed and Sue their powers had mutated her body, and now it was messing with her unborn baby too. Reed realized he needed something powerful to save them. So, he, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm traveled into the negative zone, one of Marvel's weirdest dimensions. Their target was Annihilus, a terrifying villain who controlled the cosmic control rod. That rod was Reed's last hope. They fought, they survived, and they stole some of the rod's energy. Reed used it to stabilize Sue's condition, and finally, Franklin Richards was born. A healthy baby, named after Sue's father, Franklin Storm, and their rock-skinned bestie Ben Grimm. But this baby? Not normal. A mutant unlike any other. Franklin wasn't just the son of superheroes, he was a mutant. But not like the X-Men. Most mutants don't show powers until puberty. Franklin? He was using reality-warping psionics while still in diapers. His first display of power came when the Frightful Four knocked out the Fantastic Four. Out of nowhere, toddler Franklin used his psionic ability to wake up the Thing, turning the tide of the battle. This wasn't just impressive, it was terrifying. As Franklin grew, his powers continued to evolve. Everyone expected him to become a psychic powerhouse by adulthood, but something unexpected happened. Unleashing the full power too soon. During another battle with Annihilus, Franklin was captured and placed in a machine designed to forcibly awaken his full potential. The problem? Franklin was still a kid. His mind wasn't ready. The result? His powers spiked to cosmic levels, and he became a literal ticking time bomb. Reed feared his son could accidentally destroy the entire Earth. Out of options, Reed did the unthinkable. He built a device that forced Franklin into a coma, stopping his energy output completely. Imagine being so powerful, your own dad has to knock you out just to save the planet. The coma didn't last long. Months later, during a fight with Ultron 7, Franklin's powers broke through his coma. Ultron's energy awakened him, and Franklin immediately released an enormous wave of psychic power that defeated Ultron. Just like that. After this event, Franklin's powers seemed to dial back a bit, to more manageable levels. But the universe wasn't done throwing wild curveballs at this kid. In one bizarre incident, Franklin aged himself into adulthood temporarily. That's right, he fast-forwarded his own body to adulthood, taking on the name Avatar. But even though he had a grown-up body and full access to his powers, his mind was still that of a child. He eventually realized he wasn't emotionally mature enough to handle such cosmic strength. So what did he do? Franklin turned himself back into a child, and set up mental barriers to keep his full power locked away until he was ready. Let that sink in. A kid looked at unlimited power and said, "Yeah, I'm not ready for this." That's some serious self-awareness. A toy gun. That wasn't. Now fast forward a bit. The Fantastic Four are stuck in alternate realities, and Earth is under siege by Norman Osborn, Venom, and a battalion of Hammer agents. The only ones left to defend the Baxter Building? Franklin and his little sister Valeria. Valeria, by the way, is a genius. She tricks Osborn into chasing them down a hallway, only for Franklin to confront him wearing a Spider-Man mask. Osborn pulls a gun on them, but Franklin shoots first. The twist? Franklin was only holding a toy gun, yet Osborn went down. Hard. No one could explain it. Not Johnny, not Ben. They checked the toy and found nothing. But the message was clear. Franklin's reality warping powers were back. Rest and remember what you are. That same night, something really crazy happens. An older version of Franklin, from the future, shows up, tells the kid version to rest and remember who he is. It's cryptic. It's weird. Then Franklin goes to sleep and creates an entire universe in his dreams. Just let that sit with you. A child, barely old enough to spell multiverse, literally makes one. No spell, no ritual, just raw imagination and psionic force. That's not mutant power anymore. That's divine. The multiversal collapse. Later, when the multiverse begins to collapse, thanks to those nasty incursions, the big brains of the Marvel Universe, the Illuminati, look for a solution. One plan? Use a machine to tap into Franklin's powers to create a pocket universe and evacuate humanity. But the plan fails. The machine can't channel his energy correctly. Franklin blames himself, thinking he let his dad down. Reed just says, "I should never have asked." That one stings. As time runs out, the Future Foundation builds life rafts to save who they can. Franklin boards one with his family. But as their ship enters the incursion point, disaster strikes. The hull ruptures, and Franklin, Sue, and the rest of the family die. Only Reed survives. But don't worry, this story isn't over. Rebuilding reality. Years later, Reed Richards steals the power of the Beyonders from Dr. Doom, with help from Molecule Man. And what does Reed do with omnipotence? He brings back his family, including Franklin. And now, Franklin, his parents, and the Future Foundation travel the multiverse together, not just exploring, but rebuilding entire realities. Franklin uses his powers to create new universes, while Molecule Man stabilizes them. It's poetic. A boy born of cosmic radiation, who nearly destroyed everything, now uses that same energy to create everything anew. More powers than most teams combined. Franklin Richards isn't just another mutant, he's basically a walking cosmic anomaly. This kid has universal-level powers that can go toe-to-toe with beings like the Celestials, Galactus, and even Mephisto. His main ability? Reality warping. We are talking full-on create a universe before bedtime kind of power. He's been called an Omega-level mutant, and honestly, that might be underselling him. Some have even said he's beyond Omega classification. Franklin can rearrange matter, manipulate energy and time, and even bring people back from the dead. He can teleport across the multiverse, build pocket dimensions, and warp the fundamental laws of physics just by thinking about it. Galactus once literally fled Earth to avoid fighting him. Yeah, it's that serious. He's also a powerful telepath, capable of mind reading, illusions, mental links, and even mind control. Add to that his telekinesis, energy projection, precognitive dreams, and astral projection. You start to get why Franklin is considered one of Marvel's most powerful characters ever. In fact, Franklin and his sister once resurrected Galactus using their combined powers. And future Franklin? He fought and defeated mad Celestials, being so powerful even the ultimate nullifier couldn't handle them. His reshaped reality, rewritten physics, and resisted psychic attacks from the likes of Professor X and the Celestials. Long story short, Franklin Richards is a reality-bending powerhouse, capable of feats most heroes and villains couldn't even dream of. And the wildest part? He started showing these powers when he was still in kindergarten.
Johnny!
And the thing.
Hey, what time is it? Say the thing!
That's not really something I say.
Galactus comes for the child. If you've seen the trailer for the Fantastic Four, First Steps, you probably caught that wild moment. Galactus wants Franklin Richards in exchange for sparing Earth. Yeah, that's a huge deal. And if you're wondering why one of Marvel's biggest cosmic forces would trade an entire planet for one baby, the comics have already answered that for us. Franklin Richards isn't just any kid. He's the son of Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal, and Sue Storm, Vanessa Kirby. And in the comics, Franklin is one of the most powerful beings in the entire Marvel multiverse. Even as a baby, he casually created a pocket universe without realizing it. He's what's called a beyond Omega-level mutant, meaning even the most powerful X-Men can't compare. In fact, in the comics, Galactus himself has feared Franklin. At one point, he literally left Earth just to avoid confronting the child. That's how serious it is. But over time, Franklin and Galactus actually form a connection. Franklin has resurrected Galactus, fought alongside him, and in some alternate timelines, even becomes Galactus. So when Galactus shows up in the Fantastic Four, first steps asking for the kid, it's not just for drama, it's comics accurate. He knows Franklin has the power to reshape reality, create new worlds, and potentially feed Galactus for eternity without destroying existing planets. With Shalabal, the female Silver Surfer, acting as his herald, and Franklin's insane potential on the table, this movie is setting up something massive, not just for the Fantastic Four, but possibly for the Secret Wars saga. Bottom line? Galactus doesn't just want Franklin, he needs him.
I herald his beginning.
Our nerdy thoughts. So, what does all this mean for the MCU and the Fantastic Four? First steps. Well, it means we are not just getting a fun family superhero movie, we are witnessing the beginning of something massive. Franklin Richards isn't just a child with powers, he's the narrative bridge between the Fantastic Four and the cosmic side of Marvel. Introducing him now opens the door to multiversal storytelling on a scale we've barely touched in the MCU so far. By tying Franklin directly to Galactus, one of Marvel's most feared and awe-inspiring entities, Marvel Studios is signaling that it's ready to embrace the high-concept, reality-bending sci-fi that made Fantastic Four comics so groundbreaking. This isn't just another superhero origin story. It's the prologue to Secret Wars, to Multiversal Collapse, and perhaps even to the rebirth of everything we know in the MCU. And remember, this is just the beginning. Franklin is still a child. His powers are only going to grow, and his importance is only going to increase. If the MCU follows even half of what he does in the comics, Franklin Richards could become the most important character in the entire cinematic universe. So, keep an eye on that crib, folks, because inside it lies the future of Marvel's multiverse. And if Galactus is willing to spare Earth just to get his hands on one baby, you better believe that baby's not just special. His cosmic destiny in a blanket.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.